blue side or the white side?
It's too comfy.
No, don't.
Okay. Welcome to the third episode of Pillowtalk. Today I have the twin sandwich, with me today. Benny and Maple. They are my high school classmates. I nearly said students. And these guys have been around in my life for I don't know what, more than 10 years now.
Yeah, more than 10.
Long time now.
Right. Yeah. But before we start, I actually have something for you guys.
Surprises all around.
Yes. This will bring a lot of memories.
Oh, we like surprises.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes!
Perfect.
Yes! This
Of
is
course.
perfect.
Dude, no
Of course.
sleepover is.
Oh, Maple.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Shout out to White Halai. It's not
Trying
sponsored.
Trying this every single day.
Oh, this is a classic combo.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you don't have to eat it now, but
No,
This
no,
is,
we're definitely gonna eat it now.
Dude, sleepover is all about.
This is how you do it
Yeah.
with the ips.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about food. Maple.
My white tie.
Here you go.
okay, let's open this
These
now.
are
Actually.
right.
I'm just scared I'm gonna fall asleep.
You're gonna fall asleep after eating this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
Shout out to Mr. King.
Mr. King and
Yeah.
Mr. Mokahi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for all the whispering in class. And the unasked for.
And I apologize for the sugar crashes that I experience and hence me falling asleep.
I apologize for throwing the eraser at him when he falls asleep.
Oh, so many memories in this packet of chips.
I can smell my childhood in this.
Yeah. I actually haven't had this for a really long time.
It's time.
I haven't had this in years.
You guys used to snuggle in the library as well. You had a little corner.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is not the first time that me and Benny have been on camera in such an intimate setting.
Yeah.
I don't know who took that photo, but we had our sort of private moment in the library
I felt a bit.
about 10 years back.
Yeah. I
How do
feel
you
like
guys feel now?
It's like old times. Yeah, someone, if you, anyone who's watching right now, if you know
what we're talking
where
about.
that picture is or whatever,
Yeah.
just send it over, because
I think it's in our grad video actually.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Old time save. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
So we met back in year 7,
Yeah.
and it's 9 years since graduation. So we go
Yeah.
back. It's what, 16 years, 15 years?
Something like that. 15, 16
Yeah,
years.
oh my god.
Yeah, give or take. Wow.
What do you think has changed the most about yourselves? Maybe not since year 7, but since you graduated.
Well, I don't know about how much we've changed since we graduated. I can say that, we went from sharing a corner in the library to sharing a bed right now. It feels quite good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave.
Feels like we made it.
We made it. Yeah. How have we... Maple can start, I guess. You're the eldest one here.
Yeah, I
think
actually don't even know who's older.
Yeah, Maple's older.
I'm probably the oldest one. By 1 minute.
Yeah.
How have I changed? I think I've just settled into my skin a bit better. I think back then a lot of it was worrying about whether or not friendships would last, and then what do I want to do with my life? I mean, I still can't answer that question.
Yeah.
But definitely have a better idea of who I am and what I'm willing or not willing to change about myself.
It's like understanding more about yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you've been. I don't think Benny has changed quite that much actually.
I feel like he's always been this
Yeah.
kind of adaptable,
No, I haven't really changed
flexible
much.
person.
Like I feel like even 10 years back, like he's just the same person but more mature now than before.
Yeah, I think so.
Like he hasn't really changed that much.
I feel like, to me, I've always seen life as like a process of elimination. You start by not knowing many things. You start by not having answers, and then eventually, over the years, you realize more about yourself. You realize more about the world, and you start getting rid of these questions. You start getting answers to these questions.
Yeah.
Even things like the things you like and the things you don't like, you get more clear about them. I think because when you're younger, you're like a chameleon.
Yeah.
You adapt to people around you. You get influenced by your environment. But then when you get older, it's just this. It's not that you can't adapt, but I'm just more confident of who I am, regardless of the situation. Yeah.
I think one thing that's changed about him is that he's more emotionally open now. Like more willing to talk about what he's thinking or feeling. Versus back then when such an angsty teen.
I mean, I think we've all been through that. I like it's just like, oh, like, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. You know, like you guys don't get me. Like, you know, I think we've all been through that, and I think like there comes a point in adulthood when you're just like I need someone to talk to, and you just admit that, you know, you just need some support or you like need some advice from people, and like I think there's always a point in your teens where you're like, oh, I'm 18 and like I know what I want. You know?
I'm just gonna do everything by myself.
Yeah, like,
I'm gonna
need
fight the
help.
world.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Such angry people.
Yeah, like I know like I mean you just got like appointed as the alumni rep for our year, right? I mean,
Yeah.
What does that mean for you?
I think it's a good opportunity for me to. I think I treasure friendships quite a lot, and I've always usually just done things kind of more in the background, trying to help organize events and get-togethers and all that, because I feel like I think I see the value in our friendships.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a waste for people to just kind of lose that friendship simply because we're too busy with our lives. And if I can bring people together and share that joy, then why not? Let's do it. Just that now I can do it in a more
official way.
Perhaps with some backing and help from other people. So I don't necessarily have to do everything by myself.
Just use the school resources.
Exactly. And I think that helps. Yeah.
But I think like also before, like you've always been quite active in like organizing events or like get-togethers, and I mean you're already doing that regardless of this role. I think this role just sort of came up and you're like, oh, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah,
I'll
do it.
Like,
but you need to include like the wider group.
Yeah.
Like, not just the.
I guess a lot of people see you as like a bridge between like, you know, like everyone in a sense, like you don't really like, I mean there's no clique that you just sort of like hang out with. I mean you're good with everyone, and like you're good with organizing events, people with different interests and stuff like that. So like I think you definitely have that power of bringing different people together. I think like it's not just like you hang out with like one bunch and not the other, right? So like that's definitely been like I guess one of the traits that sort of allows you to bring different people together, right?
Yeah. I think one thing is I always disliked I dislike it when people get left out of something, or if people get too. Sometimes like if you're in a social setting, even in a smaller social setting,
Mm-hmm.
There are times when people just confide in one another and they kind of ignore everyone else.
Yeah.
And I feel like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
We're all there. We can all share. We've all been through similar experiences, especially growing up together. And I think sharing is just always an easy way of doing it. If you've got problems, 4 or 5 brains is always better than 2.
Yeah.
And if there's anything happy to share, like, let's celebrate as a group. If it's worth celebrating, I mean, anything's worth celebrating, right?
Yeah.
So what trauma have you been through to make you feel this way?
I mean, for me, like, personally, because I've been through uni, like, for 7 years, I mean, like...
Yeah, it was a long time.
I mean, like, yeah, it's, like...
It's a long time.
A third of my life.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like, there are many experiences that you just sort of, like, you hit yourself in a wall and then you just learn it the hard way. And, like, I mean, this goes for, like, academics as well as, like, handling relationships or, like, family. How do you manage family, like, when you're abroad? Like, how do you manage family, like, balance it with, like, that with your, like, friendship and, like, with other people and stuff like that. So, like, I feel like maybe before when we were young, like, you just sort of take family time for granted because you're always home. And when you're off school, you come home. And then you just see your parents and, like, you have dinner and you sleep. And then it just repeats, right? But then, like, once you actually leave home and you realize that, okay, like, you gotta do things alone. And I mean, at first, of course, it feels like super liberating. And, like,
I'm
you
grown
just,
up
like,
now.
yeah, no one's telling you to sleep, no one's telling you to eat. I mean, like, it sounds really, like, trivial, but I think, like, that process of, like, I guess being independent and realizing what's actually important, and also finding refinding that feeling of, like, why home is, like, so important, I think is, like, quite an important process. I mean, that I've been through. I guess you guys have been through as well, like,
Yeah, I
after
mean,
a few years.
there's a huge difference too between making new friends and then already having friends who've known you since childhood.
Yeah.
I think freshman year in uni was quite lonely, not just because of culture shock or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Of, like, leaving home for the first time, but also just not having that
bond.
constant support system that you've always had. And then you have to meet new people, and all of a sudden it's like, how do I do that? How do I make friends? Because we don't even remember the first friend that we made. Like, how did that happen?
But there's a thing that's interesting. A discussion with someone once about this, and they said the friends you make as you get older are different because usually you go into this friendship more or less with a slight intent of making friends for the sake of it. You know what you're going for. There's a give and take. But growing up, when you're a child, you don't really have such thoughts.
I guess it's a proximity thing, like, just the fact that you were there, and then
Yeah,
you
it's
end
like
up
you were
spending a
there.
lot of time together, and then you somehow
Is there this natural bond
fall
that kind
into
of draws you together, or it's just different. And I think that the friends you make when you're young, I won't say they're more important, but the bond is definitely deeper because you've been through the ups and downs. You know each other really well, and you're still friends despite knowing how terrible of people they may be.
Yeah. I think like you also sort of bond because you've seen every side of them.
Yeah, it's
Like,
true. It's true.
Like, you like when you meet someone, you're like, this guy like seems like a bit too perfect, Like he seems like it's like too chiseled and too sculpted.
And you didn't see like the awkward faces that came before.
Exactly. Like they've not done any stupid shit, basically, right?
Not yet.
And then they
Not yet.
Or,
in front of you.
Not yet.
Or they choose not to like show that side. I think like I guess that's also part of growing up, like I mean you've seen people like we were just talking about how people eat kiwi like with the skin on, like stuff like that, like like you don't really see anyone do that nowadays because like we're grown up, but I'm sure people in like primary school still do it. Like I don't know
Eat
how-
paper.
Yeah.
Eat paper, eat ants, crayons, and
Yeah.
sorts of weird
And
things.
do other weird things.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like that in terms of that, like you see them for who they are and like they're not really ashamed anymore for like those things because like
I think as children
It's
you're
just-
also more genuine,
yeah.
and
You don't think about how does this appear to other people.
right.
You just do it because you want to.
I feel like a lot of people now have kind of, they don't really know how to be genuine anymore,
Yeah.
and that is a problem. And I find that I can't really connect with someone unless I can see like a genuine side of them.
I think also a lot of people go through the motions of being friends.
Yeah.
So you make
Yeah.
like occasional calls, you message,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? But then maybe like not really engaging
Yeah.
emotionally.
I think also comes with the part where a lot of the times people don't really show their vulnerable side, and or they're not really open to people seeing that because they might be afraid that, you know, like how will you judge me, or like will I seem like a weak person if I do this, or like if I ask you this, like what's gonna happen? So the conversations become like really
Superficial.
or like it's just like, oh, how you doing, and like what you've been up to, but it's hard to reach the next level of understanding, of emotional understanding, where you truly understand what that person's going through and stuff like that. So
A lot more casual friends versus
yeah,
yeah.
you can
that's-
talk to, right? Yeah.
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 Yeah. Agreed.
I think that's the part where I guess being together when you're young really makes a difference, because like it really gives you that space to like communicate in that level, without really having those things like to stop you from, you know, connecting emotionally. So
True.
what do you guys think is like the hardest part about adulthood? I mean, I have a few things in mind, but I think, because like people in our age group right now, like they're either figuring out what the hell they're doing, or like it's just like they know what they're doing, but
Not
they can't really do it
complicated.
yet, just like of the current situation right now. But like, what do you guys think was the hardest part, or is the hardest part about the transition?
I think, okay, if you say transition, then I think I have an answer.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part about transitioning from being an innocent kid to adult is taking reins of your own life
Yeah.
for the first time, where you make your own decisions.
Yeah.
And hence you deal with consequences by yourself. Like the fault is all yours.
Yeah.
And as a part of life, there aren't rules.
Yeah.
I mean, if life is a game, it's the worst game because there are no rules, there is no objective, there isn't really a meaning
true.
in point. You have to find meaning in things you
It's
do.
like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, nearly. You find meaning in it.
Yeah.
It is true. Like you need some sort of goal to work
Yeah, yeah,
towards.
yeah.
Right.
And the problem nowadays, I think, is figuring out what that goal is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I struggle most with. Like, not the everyday what am I doing, but like in the long term,
Existential.
what am I
doing?
It's true. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an existential question. Like, what
Yeah.
am I doing? You know,
Yeah.
What meaningful thing can I do?
Yeah.
And obviously, then the struggle comes with like, especially in careers. I
Yeah.
think this is where the struggle becomes really clear.
Yeah.
Do I just want to live a stable life
Mm.
and then do other like be able to afford, you know, like meaningful
stuff.
experiences,
Yeah.
right? Or do I want a meaningful career that may not let me experience the more, I guess, materialistic / I guess any experience that needs money to support it. So
I think it's just an interesting time to be alive right now because I mean, our generation is shifting more away from the materialistic side of life.
more about experiences.
It's more about experiences. It's more about meanings. It's more about
But it's hard because we still need to be practical about it.
yeah.
But cost of living only gets higher.
Sure.
Yeah, I think and the things that we sort of look for in this generation.
They're just very different.
I'm kind of generalizing, but like, it's like we search for a certain type of satisfaction in what we do. Okay, let's say you get a job that like pays you shitload, but like you have a really bad sort of like
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. Like not many people actually take that job, but like maybe in the generation above they would just like, take it any day. You know what I mean? It's like I think that's the sort of difference. I mean of course like we're really lucky and like to be in this position. But like I feel like people in our generation are a lot more aware of what gives them like that satisfaction that they're looking for in a way. Like through their jobs or like is it through like helping other people or like through looking at stuff that's more sort of connects people like emotionally rather than like just like on a materialistic level. I think a lot of times that's what sort of our generation is going for.
I think my take on it is because we're fortunate. We're one of the very fortunate bunch, and I think we've seen what it takes for us to enjoy this luxury. And sometimes I just can't help but wonder, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
When you see our parents work long hours and they put a lot of backbreaking work into giving us what they have. We're happy, but what about them? And I think that reflects, but that kind of affects how we think as well. Because I would think about if I had two jobs, if I was given two jobs, one job gives me a lot of money, but I've got little time to myself and my friends and family. The other job pays me much less, but I've got that time. I can find a balance. Which one will make me happier on a short term and on a long term? That balance is a hard one to find.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are many things. I think, even now we're still in a very fortunate position to be able to say stuff like this. We're very privileged to say that.
Yeah.
But I think realizing this is the hidden treasure.
Yeah.
This realization that I think finding meaning is more important than just having a good income or a good job.
Yeah, because I think that meaning is what keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
Because like I think a lot of times we search for a sort of like purpose, I guess, like a purpose in what we do.
A reason to be alive.
Yeah. Really,
Basically, right?
Like you either find that through your career, or I mean, like if you find it through your career, actually, you're really lucky already. I think like definitely not a lot of people still go through that phase where like I'm just working for the money and like you just feel like a robot. But I think once you find that meaning in your career, then it sort of like meets this like sweet spot, right? Where you just like you're working on what keeps you going at the same time, and that's what makes you money, right? I think that's always the dream. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like that's like sort of finding that spot for yourself is so important, and I think that in a sense like in terms of adulthood, I guess that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal, right? To find that place for yourself.